Welcome to the AgriImages SatShot Map Center 2.0 web tutorials. In this video I'll be going over the different scenes you can select and explaining them and how to choose the correct one. There's kind of a slight art to it, so I'll just be going through a bunch of different examples to show which ones are correct ones to use and which ones aren't. So at first you'll need to retrieve your area to get all the scenes around your field that you have selected. As you can see, there's multiples of them. I'm going to start off by showing you what a good image looks like. And I know there was one on this date here. It'll show you a deep red hue, and that's what you want to see. I know in another video it was slightly explained to that point too. But as you can see, the fields over here, they're a low vegetation, and at this date they're most likely soybeans actually. And this blacked out area is actually a small slough. And even these areas, these little blue areas in here too, those are fairly wet areas where not much is growing at this type of year. This is actually a wheat field from 2010. It's very rich in color, so definitely be a good image to analyze. There might be more of these images. It just depends on how the satellite scenes work. Satellite flies over every 16 days. Some areas you basically get an overlap of the imagery, so you might get shots even more often than that. Like in my case, in this area, I get shots about once a week almost. And some of them might be good, some of them might be bad. So this is just an example of a very good image. A deep red color depending on the crop. It'll show a little different in type of year. Say in August, the soybeans will show a richer color than say corn will, because corn is higher vegetative in July. So just one example to look at. I'm going to look at a low vegetative field, which actually took this year. Because this year this field particularly has soybeans on it. At July 5th, it hasn't canopied, it's pretty low. So you can see some other red fields here. That is wheat there. So this would be an image you wouldn't want to analyze. You can do it. It'll show patterns. So if you're curious, you might see some patterns that you see in the field. So for visual, it's okay. The next one, I'm going to show you a field that's basically turning. It's in the middle. Right about to turn. So you'll see little bits of still green vegetation, yet it'll be slightly starting to turn. It's not this rich red color up here as you see there and some of these other ones. You know, it's starting to kind of get purplish blue like the low vegetative areas, because if it's low vegetation or the crop is turned, it'll show in that blue color. You can still analyze one of these though. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just know what you're analyzing. Next one I'll show is a very cloudy image. I think it's down here, July 6th of 09. Here we go. And basically, as you can see, you got this white area. You can actually see some vegetation in here still growing, but if I zoom out a little bit, you'll kind of see a broader range of what I'm talking about. See this, you got a big cloud system coming through here and there. Now, actually, in this actual image scene, you maybe can get a good field out of here. You know, this little field right here maybe could work, but in this case you can't, and these black areas are the corresponding shadow from this line of clouds. So in some cases that image for July 6th, this one won't work for this field, but it could work for a field a couple miles north or south or east or west. So just be aware of that. The next one I'll show you is kind of the popcorn clouds, and you know, most people are used to know what those are. So we got a July 3rd, 08. So our field's still right around here. So you have these little popcorn clouds there, the white spots. Now if you see this area, that's actually the shadow from this corresponding cloud, just like these other ones. Depending on time of day, the angle of the sun will determine how far away the shadow is. And even right there, there's a little cloud there even, and sometimes those little ones can affect it. But with some of the other fields I got, some of this scene will work just fine. I got this field right here. This will work, that would work just fine for that field or this field, but this one, there's a cloud over it. So, and these images are quite often, you'll see them. Just can't get a clear day every day. So these popcorn cloud images, you just got to zoom out a little bit. If you think you see an odd nuisance in there, like say in there, or even on this field, you see this corner here. Well, it's not necessarily a wet area. It's actually the shadow of this cloud. So be careful on those scenes. The next scene I'm going to look at is the L7 scene. So you got July 26th, 10, right here. Now this satellite is a little different. The ones I've been showing you have been from Landsat 5, just a 30-meter resolution satellite. And those come up showing in the L. And then these LG ones are Landsat 7, and they got these stripes going through them because there was a problem with the optics on the satellite. Now, as you get closer to the center of the image, these gaps actually get closer and they actually combine. So some of these scenes can actually work fine if you're in that area. Also, if you have smaller fields in here, those can, if they fit in this strip, you're fine. And if they show a good red color, they're fine to analyze. Like this field right here, it's almost there, but I got the top notch and the bottom notch off. Now this little piece there could work, or and depending on your area of the country, these images can work generally fine. Even this one, it's right up there, and you probably could use this one just fine too. And that's basically an explanation of satellite scenes. You'll see an A here once in a while. Those are aster scenes. They're smaller in size. The Landsat scenes are 120 miles by 120 miles wide. And these numbers here are actually the path. So we're in 31 path, 27. So some areas you'll have different little path numbers, the same kind of the same area, the same east to west location, but there's a path north to it or south of it. So you'll see double dates sometimes of the same field depending where you're at, and you just kind of got to look through the images and play around with them. Like I said, the asters are 15 meter. We don't get too many of those, but if you have one and it's good, definitely a good view. And around my area, this kind of area where I farm by, it's pretty much just the Landsat, and you'll get a random aster. Now we are acquiring rapid eye imagery too, which is at 5 meters. Those scenes are they're not as wide. They're around 20 miles wide by 20 miles, and they're a 5-meter resolution. And we have a special order system for that. So just call about those, and you'll be seeing that in either other press releases or news about us in the future. But that's the basics of looking through the imagery and selecting the right type, and just kind of pick and choose the way you go. Thank you for listening.